In a galaxy far, far away, the Jedi Order was revered as the guardians of peace and justice. For thousands of years, they upheld their principles, wielding the Force to mediate conflicts and protect the innocent. However, the Clone Wars marked a drastic shift in their role and ultimately led to their addiction to war. The initial crisis. The Galactic Republic, a vast and diverse political entity, began showing signs of strain as corruption and bureaucracy infiltrated its core. Senators became entangled in power struggles and personal agendas, neglecting the needs of the galaxy's citizens. Discontent spread, and numerous star systems sought to secede, forming the Confederacy of Independent Systems under the leadership of Count Dooku, a former Jedi Master turned Sith Lord. Dooku, disillusioned with the Republic, used his charisma and political acumen to rally countless star systems to his cause. The rise of the Separatists was swift and alarming. Their grievances, centered around the corruption and inefficacy of the Republic, resonated with many. This movement quickly gained momentum, posing a significant threat to the stability of the Republic. As star systems joined the Separatists, the galaxy teetered on the brink of war. Chancellor Palpatine, the shrewd and charismatic leader of the Republic, recognized the escalating danger and called for the creation of a grand army to counter the Separatist threat. This army, composed of genetically engineered clone troopers, was the brainchild of the enigmatic Kaminoans, who had been secretly commissioned years prior by Jedi Master Sifo Dyas. The Jedi, traditionally peacekeepers and diplomats, were suddenly thrust into the role of military leaders. The Jedi Council's dilemma. The Jedi Council, comprising the most esteemed and wise members of the Order, faced a profound moral dilemma. Grand Master Yoda, known for his deep wisdom and serene demeanor, voiced his concerns. "Wars not make one great," he warned, cautioning against the allure of military power and the risk of losing their moral compass. Yoda's words carried weight, reminding the Council of their core principles. Mace Windu, a formidable warrior and senior member of the Council, acknowledged Yoda's concerns but recognized the necessity of their involvement. "We cannot stand by while the galaxy falls into chaos," he argued. "Our duty is to protect the innocent and uphold justice, even if it means taking up arms." Windu's perspective was pragmatic, highlighting the urgent need for action in the face of imminent threat. Reluctantly, the Council agreed to lead the Grand Army of the Republic, believing it to be a temporary measure to restore peace. Jedi Knights and Masters, including Obi-Wan Kenobi and his apprentice Anakin Skywalker, were appointed as generals. Obi-Wan, a paragon of Jedi virtues, approached his new role with caution, while Anakin, brimming with potential and emotional conflict, embraced the challenge with fervor. Anakin saw the war as an opportunity to prove himself and protect those he cared about, including. The war begins. As the Clone Wars erupted, the Jedi quickly found themselves engulfed in battles across the galaxy. The Battle of Geonosis marked the beginning of their military campaign, where they led clone troopers against a massive droid army. The initial victories bolstered their confidence, but the realities of war soon became apparent. The cold, calculated strategies of warfare contrasted starkly with the Jedi's principles of diplomacy and negotiation. Each skirmish, each mission, presented moral dilemmas that tested their resolve and integrity. On the front lines, Anakin Skywalker excelled. His bravery and ingenuity in battle earned him the respect of his peers and the admiration of his troops. Yet with each victory, Anakin felt a growing sense of unease. The exhilaration of combat and the power he wielded began to feed a darker side within him. The line between his duty as a Jedi and his personal ambitions blurred, and he began to question the strict doctrines of the Jedi Code. Obi-Wan, ever the steadfast mentor, tried to guide Anakin through these turbulent times. "Remember, Anakin, we are not soldiers. We are peacekeepers," he would often remind his apprentice. But even Obi-Wan could not ignore the changing nature of their mission. The war demanded decisiveness and strength, traits that sometimes conflicted with the Jedi's traditional values. Obi-Wan himself found it challenging to maintain the Jedi principles while making strategic decisions that involved the lives of soldiers and civilians. The strain of leadership. The prolonged conflict forced the Jedi to adapt to their new roles. The traditional methods of diplomacy and negotiation gave way to strategic planning and battlefield tactics. The Jedi were now responsible for coordinating large-scale military operations, making life-and-death decisions that affected entire star systems. Each mission presented moral dilemmas that tested their resolve and principles. The Jedi, once symbols of peace, became generals orchestrating battles and leading troops into combat. The Senate, heavily influenced by Chancellor Palpatine, increasingly relied on the Jedi to spearhead crucial military operations. Palpatine, always the shrewd politician, played a careful game, positioning himself as the Republic's savior while subtly orchestrating events from behind the scenes. Unbeknownst to the Jedi, he was the Sith Lord Darth Sidious, masterfully manipulating the war to his advantage. He used the conflict to erode the Republic's democratic institutions and consolidate his power. The Jedi Council, despite their wisdom, found themselves ensnared in the complexities of galactic politics. They grappled with the balance between their duty to protect the Republic and their commitment to the Jedi Code. Each decision was a tightrope walk, with the ever-present threat of the dark side looming in the background. The Council's meetings were filled with debates about strategy, ethics, and the future of the Order. The burden of leadership weighed heavily on them as they struggled to remain true to their values while navigating the treacherous waters of war. The descent into addiction. As the war dragged on, the Jedi became more entrenched in their roles as military leaders. The power and influence they wielded on the battlefield became addictive. Victories brought a sense of accomplishment, but they also deepened their involvement in the conflict. The constant exposure to violence and the pressure of leadership began to erode their moral compass. The very nature of war was anathema to their core beliefs, yet they found themselves increasingly entangled in its web. Anakin Skywalker, embodying this descent, struggled with his inner demons. His fear of loss, his love for Padme, and his desire for control led him down a dark path. Anakin's dreams were haunted by visions of Padme's death, and his inability to prevent his mother's death on Tatooine weighed heavily on him. The dark side of the Force, ever present and insidious, exploited these vulnerabilities. Anakin's fall from grace, becoming Darth Vader, symbolized the ultimate failure of the Jedi Order. The culmination of their addiction to war came with Order 66. Chancellor Palpatine, now revealed as Darth Sidious, executed his plan to annihilate the Jedi. The clone troopers, once loyal soldiers under Jedi command, turned against them in a brutal purge. The few surviving Jedi were forced into hiding, left to ponder the catastrophic consequences of their descent into warfare. The galaxy was plunged into darkness, and the Sith's rule began. Reflection and tragedy. The fall of the Jedi Order serves as a poignant cautionary tale. Their journey from peacekeepers to warriors illustrates the dangers of losing sight of one's true purpose. The addiction to power and the allure of military might lead to their downfall. The Jedi, symbols of hope and justice, were reduced to a tragic memory. Their legacy, however, endured through the few who survived and the lessons learned from their downfall. The galaxy, now under the oppressive rule of the Sith, faced an uncertain future. The few surviving Jedi, such as Yoda and Obi-Wan, went into exile, hoping to one day restore balance to the Force. They knew that their failure was not just a result of external forces, but also of their own choices and the moral compromises they made. The story of the Jedi's addiction to war is a reminder of the importance of staying true to one's principles, even in the face of overwhelming adversity. It serves as a testament to the complexities of leadership and the perils of power. In the end, the Jedi's downfall was a tragic but instructive lesson for future generations, highlighting the need for vigilance, humility, and unwavering dedication to the values of peace and justice.